ChatGPT can write code for you. We'll explore this in a lot of detail in this course. For the moment, we can just take this as given. ChatGPT can write Python code, JavaScript code, anything you can imagine basically. It has one limitation though. It can only write the code, but it cannot execute and therefore test the code. So when ChatGPT creates code for you, you have to copy the code and run it in your development environment. That's a bit cumbersome obviously and makes the whole code creation process a bit complicated, but with the code interpreter this changes. The code interpreter can not only write the code for you, but it can also execute the code directly in your current chat. This sounds quite amazing actually, and therefore we'll also have a dedicated code interpreter module a bit later in this course. In this lecture now, I just want to give you a very quick example, a very quick idea about the capabilities of this code interpreter. For this, we'll open a new chat, as I did it right here, and we'll first activate or enable the code interpreter down here in our account, where we go to our settings, better features, and there enable the code interpreter. With this, we can now select the code interpreter in our menu here, this option, but I want to get started with the default ChatGPT version. As mentioned, ChatGPT can write code for you, and to get started easily, let's just say I need the code to do the following. I have a website and I want to create a QR code that, whenever it is scanned, opens a link that redirects the user to my website. For example, here, our website, academind.com. So I can simply add the following prompt here: provide the code for a QR code for academind.com. Let's see what ChatGPT makes out of this. ChatGPT tells us that it can't create visual content, so an image with the QR code, but it provides the Python code that lets us create such a QR code on our own. So we would have to try this code on our own now, and more importantly, we don't have a QR code, an actually image we can directly use. Now, let's take this prompt, so let's copy it, and open a new chat once again, and now select the code interpreter. I'll now simply paste the same prompt, and let's see what happens now. This basically leads to the same result we had before. So as you see, writing prompts correctly is important in ChatGPT. We'll explore this also later in the course. But what if I change this prompt a bit, and let's just say that ChatGPT should create a QR code with a link to academind.com. Let's see if this works, as this is a bit more explicit. So we tell ChatGPT to really create the code and not just to provide the code. So let's see. And now we get a different answer from ChatGPT, and actually we get the full image, the full QR code in the end. If we scroll up a bit and quickly check what happened inside this box here, then we see that ChatGPT created or wrote this code and directly executed and tested it inside this sandbox, so to say. So this is basically a sandbox where the actual code execution is performed. There are more things happening behind the scenes, which we'll explore in more detail in the dedicated code interpreter module. The important thing though is that we were able to create and run the code, and we also get back the full QR code as an image that we can save now in our ChatGPT chat. And we can also prove to you that this QR code is working. So if we take a mobile phone, scan this QR code, there we see the academind.com link is provided. And if we click onto this link, you can see our website. One final thing here though, if I take the prompt that I used to create the QR code in here with the code interpreter and switch back to my initial chat, so the one we had right here. So if I add this prompt in there, I get a totally different answer. So it just gives me some general guidance on how to create a QR code with other tools that might be available. So this is one example how running code with the code interpreter works in ChatGPT. We'll have a look at more features of the code interpreter later in the dedicated module. Let's now move on to another plugin.